Things Podcast. Hey, Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest episode of the Needless Things Podcast, where we talk about toys, movies, music, and all manner of pop culture dorkery. I am your host, Dave. And sometimes we also talk about saying goodbye to dear friends. And that is what today's episode is. I went over to my friend Dana Swanson's place and recorded an episode while we packed her stuff. And I wanted to do something a little different and something special because on episode 3 of the Needless Things Podcast, which you can find on Podbean and Stitcher and iTunes and everywhere else you find podcasts, I interviewed Peep Peep and Miss Ladyflex from Les Sexoflex. So we covered Les Sexoflex in that way. Episode 100 of the show was a straight-up interview with Dana. So we kind of covered those bases, and I wanted to do something a little different and kind of fun. And I figured that the best way to get just a conversation that could go anywhere and any when was to just, when you get together, when you're helping somebody pack, when you're doing stuff, whatever comes out, and you just talk. And that's what we got. That's what we recorded. And some of it's silly, some of it's fun, some of it's informative, and some of it gets pretty deep. We discuss some things that have been going on in her life, and it's quite an episode, you guys, and it's no less than what you'd expect from as luminous and interesting a person as Dana is. And if you've seen us perform, then you know that. But this is a special episode for me, and I'm really excited that we were able to make it happen because she's, for weeks and weeks now, this has been going down. So for her to make time is a little difficult. She's been getting out, performing, having going away parties, and to have time to just talk. Well, the whole packing thing really, I think, is what made it happen, because I made a mountain of boxes in that place, you guys. That was pretty impressive. So anyway, before we get to that, before we get to our farewell to Dana, good luck in L.A., I want to talk about something at work, because I complain about my job a lot. Well, I feel like I complain about it a lot. And a good thing happened, or it worked out to be a good thing. I got a call on Monday. This is actually, I was driving home from the interview with Dana, or from hanging out. We did more than just that. We did a couple other things. We ran over to William Street to Adult Swim. But anyway, on the way home, I got a call from work, which is never good. Like, they're never calling to say, hey, buddy, we figured out we owe you $500,000 in back pay, so we're going to just send it to you right now. Direct deposit. Enjoy. Like, that's never a phone call you're going to get. It was a phone call telling me that they needed somebody to cover the day shift the next day, and I always say no. No, not interested. No. Because, yes, overtime money is great. But I'm going to be making money in some form or another for the rest of my life. I will never get that time back. And when I go in and work an extra shift, we're talking about not only the 14 hours of me driving there, working, getting back home that's gone from my life. We're also talking about the night before, because if you're going to work an extra shift, normally I'm up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's going to bed at 9. So there's a massive chunk of my time that is just gone, and I'll never get it back. So I would rather have my time than their money. I want my regular salary, what I've committed to work. That is, we've got a contract, and I've agreed that much of my time is worth that much of their money. But beyond that, I'd rather have my time. But if they can't cover a shift, I go in. Because, I feel responsible to that point. So they call back later on and they say, hey, we really can't cover it. I'm sorry, we have no other options. And I said, okay, I'll be there in the morning. However, tell the boss that if I cannot work on Thursday, that would be extremely helpful to me. I realize it's probably unlikely, but, why not ask? The worst thing they're going to say is, yeah, you're working Thursday. We couldn't cover anything. So I threw it out there because I figured, why not? I've been there 13 years now, almost 14 years now. And I think maybe I've got a little leeway just to ask for something like that. So I did. Got in the next morning, opened up the work schedule, and sure enough, they had coverage on Thursday, and I didn't have to work today, which is great because I'll tell you right now, if every single week I could work either Monday or Tuesday instead of Thursday and get a nice 4-day weekend, I'll do it every time. So now I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I don't have to go back till Monday night. So this is like huge. This is fantastic. So really working that day worked out really well for me. And I credit to them for going to that little bit of extra effort to get coverage so I could be off today. So there you go. There's a good thing about my job. And look, there are other good things about my job, and I've been trying to keep a brighter perspective about it lately, just so I can get through. And it's working out. I'm trying to look at the good instead of focusing on the bad. And my brain is going along with it for now. All right. One thing I want to talk about before we get to the packing with Dana portion of the episode, which, by the way, includes moving around, boxes, some really nice packing tape rips from time to time. But it's all, to me, that's all part of the experience of this episode, and it doesn't detract from it at all. It's there. It's very atmospheric. It's fine. It's not like they aren't supposed to be there. So it's all just part of what this episode is and the concept that we were going for. But so I first met Dana in October of 2012 at a Les Sexoflex show, and we talk about this in the episode, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. And we got along because I'm a nice guy and she's a funny lady, and we ended up doing two different game shows together, even though they were kind of the same game show. Whose F Is It Anyway was the one at the beginning. Then we did the Dirty Dirty Con Game show together. We did a Christmas Carol together. Lots of stuff. Lots of really fun stuff that we wrote, we worked on. We shared hours and hours and hours of great creative energy together. And I learned so much from her, and we discussed that in the episode as well. So that's, stay tuned. But just really had some great times together, and never argued, really. We communicated, and we had differences of opinion from time to time, but we never got to a point where one of us was absolutely certain the other one was wrong about something, and that was the end of it. Like, we never got into big creative conflicts or anything. It was a pretty mellow collaboration, and there were times when somebody had an idea that just wasn't great, but then there was always an alternative. Like, oh, okay, well, hey, what if we do this, or what if we fold this into this? It was really amazing collaborative experience that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. Wonderful times, and there's a sort of haze of melancholy over this episode, but I mean, she's just going to L.A. I mean, I at some point in the future I will see her again. I might even end up working with her again. But it was definitely kind of heavy, saying goodbye, seeing a good friend and a mentor heading for the other side of the country. Another thing that's been tough is growing my beard back. So I mentioned last week that I had shaved my entire face in order to look the way I thought I should look for the upcoming film Joe Striker. And it's growing back in. I'm to the point now today where I feel like I look acceptable again. Like, I wouldn't stay like this. Like, I'm not going to keep my beard trimmed to where it is now, but I can look in the mirror without going, ugh. which is nice because I there was a hole for about 3 or 4 days. I was in real like sexual predator territory, and it was bad. It was a bad look. But now I'm past that, and I'm into like Thor forgot to shave territory. And I'm not trying to say I'm as attractive as Chris Hemsworth. I'm just saying aesthetically, that's kind of what's going on with the length and density of my face hair. So I'm in recovery. Everything's going to be okay. And leading from one movie into the other movie, Troublemaker. I cannot remember last week if I knew this. Troublemaker, the documentary by our friend Jason C. Wilson about a year plus in my life, is completely done. It is being submitted to film festivals now. We already have a couple of ideas of where it might be shown other than film festivals. The trailer is up. You can look up Troublemaker movie by Duck's Paw Productions. You Google that. You can find a trailer for it that I absolutely love. The music for the movie is fantastic. The music was composed and performed by Jason's sons. I think both of them had a part in it, and it's amazing. Like, I would absolutely buy the score for Troublemaker on vinyl if I had the opportunity. And if I don't have the opportunity, I want digital files because I'm in love with this music. And it's not anything I ever would have been like, oh, that's what I want that to sound like. But it's Jason had a concept in his head for what thematically worked with the content of the movie, and man, he was right. I was in tears from just how beautiful this music is. So super excited about Troublemaker. Lots going on with that. We will be doing a photo shoot for the movie poster sometime soon, but I told Wilson, I called Jason Wilson. Wilson sends me a text and he's like, hey, we need to do photos for the movie poster it's soon. And I said, well, it's going to be at least 2 weeks. And he's like, what? And I was like, I have to wait for my beard to grow back in. He's like, we're going to do it with the mask. Does it matter? And I was like, have you seen me? Like, one of the trademarks of the Troublemaker mask is the protruding beard. It was a moment of confusion for me, and I think for him as well. So the beard's coming back in, and now there's like stuff relying on the beard coming back in. It's important. It needs to happen. So beard, get on it. I need to rub some kind of product into my jaw to get this thing going. This horse shampoo. Isn't that what makes hair grow faster? Or is that mane and tail? Do they have cheek and jaw that I can put on? I don't know. Anyway, this episode is a special one. It's going to be retroactively one of my favorites. Like, look, not retroactively, but like when I look back on it in the future, I know I can tell just from listening to what we recorded. This is going to be one of the ones that I'm like, that's on my list. Like when somebody asks for a list of great episodes, this is one of them because it's awesome. Dana's awesome. We had a great time talking, and she's going to go to LA now and do big, awesome, amazing, interesting things, and that's great. So you guys sit back. Maybe you have things of your own to pack. If you listened to an episode about packing, well, it's not about packing, but where packing is happening while you're packing, I hope somebody out there is packing while they listen to this episode. If you are, shoot me an email at phantomtroublemaker@gmail.com or join the Needless Things Podcast Facebook group and put up a picture of yourself packing while listening to our episode while we're packing. Set this right on top of that, middle of the room, and whatever we get is what we get.
Microphone on a microphone. I'm giving you this Ninja Turtles.
There really couldn't have been a better one.
Yeah, I was getting. I think everybody's been kind of doing the Marie Kondo thing. to a point, you know? And I think like the most valid, because I think it's really interesting. I think people dog on it because they like to dog on anything domestic. But it's a really useful skill to learn. It's just like, well, how do I travel with less items? And the coolest thing about it is getting everything of one item together and being like, how many nail clippers do I have? I had 7 nail clippers. Why did I have 7 nail clippers?
Well, and you know, even saying that, you said I got 7 nail clippers. I've got 2 toenail clippers, 2 fingernail clippers, because I ordered new ones because I felt like my old ones weren't quite getting, like, they were just getting dull.
Yeah.
You know, you can only keep those things for 30, 40 years before they're going to do anymore.
Yeah.
But I got the new ones and used them, didn't really care for them. So now I have the new ones that I don't like and the old ones that aren't working. And now I have to commit to getting a third one. And once I have that, I'm going to have 3.
Well, you got to get rid of the ones that don't work.
But they work better than the new ones.
Oh my
but I can't just throw out the new ones because they're new.
It's all new.
And you can't return anything to Amazon because, of course, I ordered them from Amazon because they came in a set.
Oh yeah.
That was a bargain.
So now
it was a better deal.
So I've been having some going away events, and last night I brought all of my beauty products that I couldn't, like, because you can't donate beauty products very easily. Like, I've called around to shelters before, and they get kind of like, well, what are you trying to donate? I don't want your shit. Like, they can kind of be specific about it because they're just like, we don't have room for this. Like, give us something useful. So instead, I just sort of took all my leftover, like, bath stuff, hair stuff, nail clippers, like all that, and just laid them out on the shelf. And I was like, everybody just takes something. And it was great. People were like, I got this nail polish remover. Like, they were so excited. I had way too many headbands. So it was just like, it was a bevy of headbands. Finally, somebody showed up who had red hair. I had this giant thing of red hair shampoo that I'm like, it's a pump. It's going to leak. Somebody
that's not going to travel well.
No, so like I was really happy that went to a person. Like, it's nice. It feels like it's reverse Price is Right when you're like, yeah, look, I'm watching all these people win. Like, it's cool. So
you get to take it home and you don't have to guess the price.
I know the price is free for you. I probably paid too much for it. But there's stuff you hold on to because you sunk a lot of money into it, but sinking the money into it was part of the experience of buying it, you know? Like, well, I did that. And then you can kind of be like, that's final. Don't worry about the whole, because like you're going to have other times where you don't sink a lot of money into something that's great for you. So let it balance out, everybody. I want to show you this. This is, just have you read that out loud.
The coffee bean, tea leaf, enemas.
Yeah.
And I see that our little symbols on this, this is a sticker that one uses for advertising. There's a coffee bean, a tea leaf, and a little enema bulb.
Yep.
So this is your one-stop shop for getting... Wait, do they...
So there's a sketch...
I feel like I've just connected this.
Yeah, there's a sketch group... I think they're called Loose Meat, and they used to do stuff at my friend Stoney's place in Highland Park called Highland Park TV, and that was like, I think this is Stoney's favorite sketch, which is coffee bean and tea leaf and enemas, and it was, I mean, those guys are fucked up, like it was a restaurant where like they sort of set up a coffee beans, but coffee, tea, so somebody would order coffee, somebody would order tea, and then somebody ordered enema, and they would do an enema, and I like live enema. Because, I mean, I guess people just are like, how far can we stretch comedy this far?
That's
so pretty far. I won't ever watch it, but I love the sticker. Like, I love...
It's fantastic that they have a logo.
It's just because it's sort of also just surprise. Like, I think that the concept is brilliant. I never want to watch it.
Here are the two things I'm trying to determine.
And also, maybe they didn't do live enemas. Maybe I made that part up, because I don't know, but I do remember Stoney saying something about that. There was something that made me not want to watch it, and I thought it was, these guys are so balls out that they did live enemas.
First, I thought this was a legit establishment. When you showed me that sticker.
Nice. That's fun.
Well, I feel like the services and the world and the way things, like all the home source, organic, and it did not stretch credibility to think that this could be a thing.
Yeah.
And then I wondered, are they giving you regular enemas, or are they giving you like coffee and tea enemas?
I don't know.
But then sketch comedy, okay, good enough.
Yep.
Now my thought is, if I was somewhere for some sketch comedy and they're doing that, what would my response have been?
Oh yeah.
Not knowing
that, like I would have.
I would like to think I would have just laughed until I cried and not been overly horrified.
God.
But it would depend on the setting. It would depend on what I had gotten from the people doing it, like how.
Because they do it, like, the way that used to run was, it was a 90s television studio. Like, it was a 3-camera 90s SD studio. They would feed into an HDMI, like, they feed into an editing station, and then run it through an HDMI cable, and then put it out on, like, Periscope. And they have, like, stuff they edited for YouTube. So everything has that crazy, it was a video toast, like, everything has that crazy edited, affected feel to it. But it's just that it's now, as people now doing stuff. So there's like this odd thing, because you don't know the etiquette of like, can I laugh? Like, can I laugh because am I blowing the sketch? Or like, because if you laugh, there's like 1 or 2 people laughing, and then the rest of people are like, well, I don't know if I can laugh. So it's like this odd thing where you kind of hold it in, and then at the end you're like, ah, that was funny! But you don't get that same feeling of like, I'm watching this live, and I can laugh, and this is funny. Like, it's like, okay, they got their take, and now I'm laughing. Or I got like, or it's a full piece. Like I did 2 things over there. Siobhan, aka Princess Genius, and I did one called Night Secrets. That was typical teens just reading from their diaries. It was very fun. And then I did one called America, This Is You, where I was wearing. I love like what is called performance art wear, which is like you pick a color and you just go with that color, and you see what happens. So I was just wearing nudes. And I knew I was in LA, and I was like shopping around all week, and he'd be like, I gotta find the right nudes. Like I was wasting so much time on it. I bought a gluten-free cake, nudes, and then I came out and I sang the America's Funniest Home Videos theme song as like a pretentious performance artist.
Sure.
And then was naming off cities and like smashing cake on different parts of my body, and it was. I have like one friend, it's like, America, this is you, it's fucking brilliant. Everybody else is like, I don't know what that is. Why'd you do that? I did it because it's fun. I do this shit because it's fun.
Well, that's why you do anything though, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, this is going to entertain me, and if it entertains other people too, then that's like double win. Totally.
So, yeah, like that was, and like, the worst part was there was this woman afterwards, like, so I put everything on a tarp, and like I was kind of trying to contain the mess.
Yeah.
And she just kept going, you got it everywhere. Like trying to shame me, and like staring up at me going like, you better not move. You got it everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And like, I'm like, are you trying to just like embarrass me right now? Because I thought it, okay. And then they had like this whole food sketch they did afterwards, and I was just like, you know what, fuck right off, lady. Like, fuck right off, please.
Maybe that was her own little personal performance thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like she didn't even mean it. She was just like, I'm gonna have, this is my contribution to your event.
Yeah, like you just like, it was like the cameras are off, but you're just, what are you doing? Are you making me feel terrible?
Bizarre.
It was really bizarre, and like it sat with me for a long time. This is like a feeling you don't want to have, like right after you get off stage. It's like you did that wrong.
Yeah.
Someone telling you that anything went wrong is just like, no, even if something goes wrong, you're like, no, it was great. And then like afterwards, you can be like, hey, by the way, maybe when you like, I did a burlesque performance where it's illegal to show your butt crack. So I did a burlesque performance recently where like I had rehearsed everything other than taking off. I had like a pair of underwear on over a thong, so I'd rehearsed everything other than that, and I almost took off both of them at the same time. And so like I had a little slip up. And like the thong kind of peeped a little, so I think there was a little bit of a peak, and people noticed it, but they were like, "It's fine, we'll let it go." But I had butt ass written on my butt, so I was like, "I'm hoping everybody just appreciates my butt ass." You know, it was today's special, so.
It's funny how no matter how good you feel about something, no matter how well something went, one little thing, especially if it comes from someone else, can just taint the whole thing.
Totally. Where you're like, what? This was going great. Like, why are you making me feel like you do?
Right. Like I can do that on my own. I don't need your help to feel badly about things.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I had that with a spot where I guess like the end page. Was
I was supposed to bring the little screwdriver.
Oh, that's okay. I just realized that this knife was not properly washed. I don't know if that's my fault or the dishwasher or what happened there. So, I'm going to see. Let's see if we can get this open. So right now, podcast listeners, we're trying to open...
Yeah, this episode is Packing with Dana.
I'm trying to ship my car today. And they haven't called me, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
Ship my car sounds like a nightmare.
Ship my car. I know. I'm doing it through a company called Mr. Car Shipper, so that should just tell you how legit everything is. This is bullshit.
Surely there's
a person that could do this for me, because I am having trouble. So I'm trying to replace a car battery, or a battery on my car key, so I have a car key for them.
Okay, so you've got a little notch right there.
Yeah, do I just notch?
You know what you need?
What do I need?
You need a tiny screwdriver.
Fuck! I have like a big screwdriver, I just don't have a teener.
That's not actually metal. That's not going to work because your little wing here is the perfect size.
I know, it's going to break.
But that's absolutely
it would
what
break
would
that wing again. I would re-break that poor wing.
Tiny key can fit in there.
Yeah. I have some needles. Maybe a needle?
A needle, yeah. Actually, yeah, a needle because it's bendy.
Yeah.
All right, so
is this good radio yet?
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Okay,
Everyone's
good.
going to love this.
Great. Oh, look at this.
We're really getting some insight.
Ripper. I think this could work.
I think you're right. We're getting some insight into the process right now.
Yeah.
So why are we packing with Dana?
Oh, because I'm moving to LA. Bye. Bye, Atlanta. Gotta go.
How did this happen?
Well, I was in a 12-year partnership that dissolved, and I just didn't really. I've always wanted to live out in LA. I've always wanted to try it at least for a year and see how that happened for me. Without. Like, he definitely didn't want to go ever. So, like, he didn't want to live there, which is totally fine. You know, you do you. But without that, I kind of was like, well, I can kind of see what it's like to be out there. And originally I was like trying to keep my job and trying to keep a couple things the same. And then that all sort of fell apart. So the only thing that's the same from Dana at the beginning of September to Dana now is that I still do voiceover for Toonami. Everything else is very different.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I had to leave my job, which I was a senior writer-producer for Adult Swim, doing commercials and promos, because it was just not feasible for me to be able to do it out there, according to AT&T, which is fine.
Sure.
But yeah, like, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing out there. I just know I'm going to be having a great time.
Well, you are going to be having a great time.
Did it
and
come
this is what
out?
you got to do.
Did we get it?
We're good. No.
Oh,
I thought you meant the story.
No.
But we're not giving up on this battery thing.
Okay, so we're trying to get this battery out still. So when.
No, that thing isn't.
What about this thing?
It bent.
Oh, okay.
I bent it back, but it's not.
Do you want some
firm
needles?
Enough. No, because those are going to bend too.
Do you want a knife? Do you want like a paring knife? Maybe a paring knife.
Maybe a paring knife.
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Anything that's really tiny and firm.
Yeah, my butter knife
rigid.
is too thick.
Oh, hey.
You got it?
I got it.
Hey! All right, let's put it in my...
This is the most successful thing that's ever happened on the Needless Things podcast.
Yeah, and if there's anything I've learned in the past couple months, it's don't be afraid to ask for help and delegate, and this is definitely one of those times where I just asked Dave to help me with this battery. Oh, wait, is this the same battery? Is this the...
No, that's the old one.
Oh, this is too fucking thick.
No.
Okay. That's okay. I'll, I guess...
Just jam it in there. It'll be fine.
Yeah. guess I'll just get some different ones. So I've got to go to batteries and bulbs anyway.
Well, there you go. Just take
And
that one with you.
I have to recycle shit, and I'll just take that, and that's fine. So there we go. Okay, well, thought I had the same battery. Guess I don't. It's okay, everybody.
But guess what? We have one thing is checked off the list.
One thing. Got the battery out, putting another battery in, put TBD, baby. It's going to be just fine.
So you're going to LA.
Going to LA.
You've been going to LA and scoping it out.
Yes, and I've worked there for probably like 9 years.
Right, you've been going back and forth for a long time, right?
Yeah, like some years have been almost bi-coastal. I know people, I have friends, I have things I like about it. I have air mattresses to stay on, so I will be okay. So that's pretty exciting.
But I mean, that's like generations of people have done this, I think, with less leverage and skill.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. Like, I feel like I have, skill is real questionable, Dave, but, I know people, I know experiences, I may just I don't know, maybe I'll just go to the park all day and see what happens, but, I've been selling a condo too, so.
That sounds horrible.
Fucking stressful. Don't ever do it. You can buy a home, just don't ever sell it. Because this is the worst feeling. I hate this so much. I hate selling this place. It sucks. It's so exhausting. I'm also exhausted, so I got up at 3 a.m. and just started packing and then tried to get back to sleep.
Well, you've been doing a billion things, because my admiration is that you haven't just cocooned and taken care. Like, you've actually been seeing people and getting things in. And do you want to? Are there things we can pack while we talk?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I've got these cat toys.
We really need to pack the cat toys.
I gotta pack these cat items. Yeah, I've got a pill popper. Actually, I'm gonna save. I gotta pull out one of these syringes for the next time I see them. Two of these,
but you've actually been sort of doing the farewell tour.
Yeah,
and fitting that
farewell
in.
Tour. Yeah, this is part of it. I kind of gave myself enough time to do that. And there's definitely people that I realized I didn't invite them to this thing, or I forgot, or I just kind of ran out of time, or whatever. And so that sucks because I would have liked to have seen certain people that I just didn't. You seriously run out of mental energy.
Yeah.
So that could be I was texting people on this day to come here, and then I forgot. There are people I just straight up had just stopped texting, was I'll tell them, and then I just forgot. So, sorry everybody.
Well, I think that happens even in just regular day-to-day life without the insane chaos that you're going through right now. I definitely think about all the times I've had an event or something I've been planning to do and forgotten that one person who won't use Facebook.
Yes.
Like that, and look, I respect people who won't use Facebook, but you are making yourself.
You're killing me. This no Facebook.
It's that extra step.
Yep.
And I think you have to know you're the extra step that may get overlooked.
Yeah. Well, I tried to do everything on text, and so then it was harder just to, because I would just copy and paste this text message and be like, oh hey, come to this thing at this time. So right now I'm packing up some cat items. I'm gonna need more tape, guys. It's gonna get real. Very interesting radio, hearing boxes and things go. Let's see,
I think
some packing tape?
the sound of packing tape is going to be pretty exciting. Oh wait, that one might be out. I was going to.
Oh yeah,
we can get a little more.
Yeah. I'm kind of let's just exhaust it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I need to get more packing tape.
We'll take it down to the.
What are we recording on?
Cardboard.
What mic do you have here?
I've just got my little portable recorder that I record everything with.
How long do you have that?
I don't have a. No, that one I've had for a year. I had the model prior to it. I went too long on the tape.
It's okay.
The model prior to that one, I had for several years. Recorded panels, recorded interviews like this, recorded everything until at Dragon Con, I had it in the top pocket of my speed suit, went to the bathroom, and I think you can probably see where this story is going.
Oh
Unzipped the speed suit, pulled the sleeve, you know how those work, pulled the sleeve over the shoulder. What am I handing?
Tape, do you know where that's
the tape again? Yeah. And it just went plunk.
Oh my God.
And fortunately I was able to get the recordings off of it, but it just sort of stopped working. So we were thinking,
buddy, I'm so sorry.
Well, these
but you
things
have
happen.
this new one. You got a new one.
And it's great. And I don't have like a snowball or a blue ball or whatever the podcasters use that costs like $200.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I have this Yeti, and I don't know if I'm crazy about it.
That's the one.
This
that
one's
everybody
right
has.
there. I've got that Yeti.
It's
so.
I don't find those necessary.
No.
Because I use this thing every once in a while. The only problem I ever had is when there's like an air conditioning unit running. Like when I went down to Dad's to talk to John.
Yeah.
We went into the theater to talk.
Yeah, the nice open theater.
It was but it was great. It actually sounded really good.
Oh yeah.
But then the air conditioning kicked in the back, and there was this.
Oh no!
But it was still, you could still hear the conversation.
Yeah.
And see, even if you had the fancy podcasting microphone, that still would have happened.
Yeah.
So that's not this thing. That's just whatever.
Oh, I had all more cat shit I could have put in that box.
So
do that.
we did a game show.
Yes, we did.
For several years.
Yes, we did.
We had a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
Because I was actually trying to remember, I did an interview a couple weeks ago with somebody just talking to me about all the stuff I do. And they were like, how did the game show happen? And I was actually trying to remember how you and I first started like talking, like just friendly talking, as opposed to like, hey, I like the Sexaflex talking. Because I can't remember what that.
We did you came to see us at a show. It was like my first show after having brain surgery, so it was like a very like.
It was the one at Mary's, right?
Yeah,
it was the one at Mary's.
I can't believe I look back at that time. I'm like, I cannot believe I was cognizant enough to do that show. So I did a show. We chatted. You did a podcast with. You interviewed Peep and I, which was very fun.
So that was it, though. There wasn't any other. Because that's what I was thinking. That was kind of just it.
Yeah.
And from there, I guess the next step was, hey, you want to do a dirty game show
like
with
we
me?
just kind of kept in touch, like because you came to see the final Sexaflex show.
Yes.
And so I think it was just sort of like I'd see you around, and I think and I actually told somebody this story recently, but I think it was just because you asked.
Yeah.
I liked you and you asked, and I said, yeah. It was just that thing of you just never know what somebody's going to be interested in until you ask. It doesn't matter how well you know them. Because I knew you some. It wasn't like you weren't a rando.
Yeah, I wasn't a complete stranger.
Yeah, you were a person that I liked. So, that already, I think that is honestly, working with people, that's honestly such a big part of it. So you just have to like who you're working with, and then it's easy. So, I knew you, I liked you, and I was just like, oh yeah, let's do that, that's cool. It made, oh yeah, that could be interesting. I like you, I like the project, okay. So, what the shit is this, sushi flake? What the hell?
I don't know, what have you got? What is it? I'm curious
Here,
whether you're moving from one box to another
That's
box.
I'm gonna throw that out.
This is a very exotic looking, is this a condiment? Maybe?
I think it's just
a topping?
seaweed you put on. It's seaweed you put on top of things. It's the seaweed flake topping.
Well,
I believe.
Anori Co.
Yeah, it was in with my cat stuff, so it was in the wrong box.
Maybe not. The cats might love this. It's good on sushi rolls, soup, salads, yakisoba, and okonomiyaki.
Great! Wow. Are you from Japan?
You think so?
Yeah.
That was spot on. That accent was. So yeah, that was it was. And I think the important thing there is don't be scared to just talk to people and suggest things. Yeah. And just be like, hey, how does this sound?
Yeah.
Because worst case scenario was probably you saying, well, I'm not really interested, but if you're going to do it, here's an idea, or maybe I know somebody who would.
Yeah, here's a person that can help you, or whatever. So it's like, it doesn't hurt to ask. And, like I think always ask, like always approach people, especially if you have something you think is a good idea, because it probably is a good idea. I mean, there's also a lot of shit that's terrible ideas.
Are there terrible ideas, or is there just terrible execution of a potentially good idea?
Oh, that's interesting. Like, I think both. I think there could be a terrible idea executed well, and I think there could be a great idea executed poorly, and I think it's just all in. It's that whole 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Right.
Really rings true. So I mean, you can have a great idea, but it can go sideways so easily. Yeah. And you can have a shitty idea, and then people can still be like, "Well, you did that thing," and you're like, "We sure did, and there was glitter." Like you can.
Well, and that's the important part, is doing it.
Yeah, just doing it.
Is just doing it, and I think even a completely failed thing, you're learning from.
Oh yeah, even if something totally flops, if you absolutely learn from it. Fuck! I forgot this cat toothbrush. Okay.
How are you going to brush their teeth?
I never brush their teeth. They both have terrible dental problems.
Well, you know why?
Bad mommy.
It's because your cat toothbrush is still in the packaging.
It's still in the packaging. No, I'm taking it out before it's there to protect it. Oh, my babies. I miss them.
I bet that where are Joel and Forrester?
So here's a fun fact we're going to get into just selling condos right now.
Oh, sure.
If you are ever selling a home, condo, what have you, don't have your animals in there because people don't like it. So we put the place in the market in October, and the cats were here, and so it was like a whole thing of like, okay, Joel may pee, he may puke, he may do something because he's just unpredictable. So, and then also it's like people coming in, and there's cats here, and they could open that door, and Joel could get in, or Forrester could get in. Like Forrester doesn't do much in there, but Joel's just a revenge pisser, and he's also a puker. He's really good with bodily fluids getting everywhere, so it was just like that was part of it. Was like, okay, we're gonna have to clean up right before something happens if somebody goes in. So that's part of it. Then other people are just like, I just don't want to see your pets. Like I can't imagine living in a place if there's animals there, you know?
Yeah, and there are people who are like aggressively. That was an exciting.
Yeah, that was an exciting.
That was better than the tape noise, I think.
Ooh, yeah.
But there are people who are like aggressively anti. Like, why would you let an animal live indoors with you? As a matter of fact, I work with somebody who we were having a conversation about dogs once, and the way I was raised is your dog's kind of part of the family.
Yeah.
They're indoors with you. You hang out.
I think that's very common. Yeah.
And but if you're maybe more rural, then you have dogs and they just live out in the yard and run around, and maybe every once in a while you go say hi to them. And that's
how my mom was raised with cats. Like she lived in a farm and she had something like 100 cats. Something bonkers like that. And they each had like one cat that I think was allowed to be special that was occasionally let in the house. But she was used to just like the farm cat situation.
Yeah, and it's just different ways people are brought up or whatever. But yeah, some people are
just brought up wrong. So
it's true. And some people have to filter cats on a farm.
Yeah, I just gotta figure out what they want to do with it. All right, I'm gonna start labeling things so don't forget. These are cat toys, right, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, cat toys.
Those are the cat toys.
Okay, and there should be some masking tape in that box.
There is.
Box. Can you hand me that?
I can.
So this is cat stuff. What's the cat stuff?
So we did the game show for several years.
Yes.
Had much fun doing that. I learned really everything about performing.
Really?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Really?
Because at that point, all I had really done, I'd done the podcast and I had hosted the wrestling, but there was so much more, well, really to comedy.
Yeah.
That I never, my brain works differently now.
Yeah.
Because of, hey, if we do this, this would be funny, and then let's do this. And you would have this perspective of, well, here's this and this don't necessarily go together, or we don't need to do this and this if this works.
Yeah.
Like just a way of looking at putting something together and like how much, like this much funny is enough.
Yeah.
You don't want to overload. You don't want to there and also that there are different kinds of humor.
Yes.
That don't necessarily mix right together. Like one of the earliest things was when we did the very first game show at the Red Light.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out the music to play beforehand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've got like Weird Al in the car. And you're like, that's not, no.
This doesn't set a mood, yeah.
Right, and I wasn't thinking in that way. All I was thinking is, oh, well, this is funny and nerdy and people like it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking about it versus what we were actually doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I think music is a really great way to set a stage, like not just in performance, but if you're like, people talk about I think everybody has like a sexy Spotify playlist. Like everybody's got one that's like, I'm gonna set the mood.
Oh, sure,
like,
yes.
Everybody has one.
It's probably not public.
No.
But
well, I have I put them under code names. So like I have, and then I have to try to remember what the code names are, because I don't want people to know that it's like my bang playlist. Because then it comes up it'll like come up in the sidebar, and then you're just like, I actually have a great John Carr story about that. He made it's my favorite Spotify story, but he made a shared playlist where anybody could join called John's Fuck Playlist, and it got so good. Like it was just like Motown Philly. It was everything. It was just like people trying to out-troll each other.
Right.
I think it disappeared at some point. I think he just like got rid of it. But I was like, I love this. I love that you're like, yeah, everybody, ha!
We all know what this is.
Yes, we all know what this is. But he would never, because the songs were so bad for that mood that I don't think he would ever actually play it. But just the idea that it's like, no, we all do this. Everybody does this. Let's talk about actual songs, or let's talk about the worst possible things to put on that playlist.
Right, stuff that's like way too on the nose.
Yeah, or like just the Hamilton full soundtrack, like the full, and then people are just rapping while they're going at it, and it's a problem. So yeah, and like I sometimes make new ones too, like depending on because I had one that was like a faster one, and I'm like, oh, that's very specific. And then I'm like, the slower ones work a little better. Now we're getting into some real territory. Setting mood is super important. I like to make sure that things are going to work, tech-wise, because you never know, and it also speeds things up. If you have a lot of tech cues and you haven't rehearsed any of those, you could be waiting for them to happen.
Well, and that's the thing is the preparation was a huge part of what we got. I mean, you're making lists of, okay, here, because in my head, I'm just picturing the final product.
Yeah.
And the steps from this is a neat idea to us being up on stage doing a thing.
Yeah.
At the time, my brain wasn't conditioned to work on.
Oh, wow, yeah, no.
No, not at all, because it's not, you don't realize what goes into it unless you had so much experience with that.
Yeah.
That you're like, hey, maybe instead of assuming that
I found a box cutter!
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
This is the second best thing that's happened today.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, but go ahead.
But just have, like, thinking about those steps and thinking about, like, hey, let's not assume that this is going to go right and actually test it out a few times and try and take a look and see how it plays. And, like, even if it's just you and me on the phone saying, hey, does this sound funny? You know, just that amount of preparation. It was a great learning experience.
Something I really learned from the Lexiflex is different people are going to find different things funny. And so I feel like it took, Pete and I have a very different sense of humor. And there's stuff that he finds endlessly funny that I'm like, I don't get it. And the same with me. They're like, the very, like, reference droppy stuff. He's just like, I don't know, man. And so, like, it's taken us years to find that, like, how do we convince each other that this thing works? And it's all out of respect, because, like, we've done enough shows together to see, like, wow, your thing is fucking really funny. And, like, we, have that respect for each other. Like, oh, yeah, that totally works. I just don't know it because I don't know that thing that you're going for, and you need to walk me through it. And I think like coming at it from like a point of respect is always really important. Of like, okay, I want to help you make your thing work. You know?
Yeah. Well, and that was the same thing that I think made the game show so successful, was that you and I have very different sensibilities.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, when we hit on something that both of us thought was really funny, that was going to be the thing that, like, I would start over here, you'd start over here, and then we'd sort of find something in the middle, and that would be the thing that kind of appealed to everyone.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like you try to like get a pop. Like you want stuff to work, and sometimes you can have a great joke, the timing is off, or people don't hear you say it. Like that can be a thing too.
Put things in things.
Oh yeah, let's
gotta be something
out. I'm so
help with.
Like
I feel like I'm interrogating you while you're packing.
How about you build some boxes?
Okay, I can do that.
So just put open it and then put a seam at the bottom, and then that's the box graveyard over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can assemble boxes all day.
Yeah. And let's see, I guess we'll see how much tape we have too, because I have a friend coming around 1 who is, she's going to do a Lowe's run for me. We're not sponsored by Lowe's.
But we do like Lowe's. We prefer them to Home Depot.
They're there, yeah.
We're, hopefully we've got an hour's worth of tape at least. Mm-hmm. For that magic. So that was awesome. We did that. We had awesome shows, but we haven't. I absolutely 100% understood your time to move on.
Yeah.
And you did, but what have you been doing since then? Like, what have you been up to?
Man.
Aside from completely changing your whole entire life in a dramatic and sudden fashion.
You know what's so funny was that the day that everything sort of fell apart was the last day of Dragon Con. Because
this past one.
This past Dragon Con was like, I'm telling you.
You don't have to get.
Oh no, so I have a problem where I'm very vulnerable and I just tell shit sometimes. But we were kind of for a while, like just where they were, and we needed to have a conversation about it, and he had sort of broached the subject during Dragon Con, and I remember saying, can we just please wait till after Dragon Con? And so we did. It was the last day of Dragon Con, and I had done my favorite thing, which is Monday last minute shopping, because everybody's trying to get rid of shit and you get great stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's my ritual. That's very grounding. I did that. Came back, made dinner. We had a conversation, and it was very, very difficult, but very necessary. And it was what started everything rolling. So that's the weirdest thing was I did a show the night before that he was a part of. He crushed. I was really proud of the show. It was a tag team karaoke show.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was a weird feeling of we know this thing's about to happen, but can we just still do this show together? Because you'd be great at it. You know?
Yeah. And you guys did a couple of things after that.
Yeah, so you can do on this side too.
We're down to.
Okay. So you can just I just do a little doop-doop.
Yeah.
A little T on
a little reinforcement.
Yeah, a little rim reinforcement.
Yes. You don't want anything.
A little rim enforcement.
Busting out.
No.
Unexpectedly.
Yeah. So it's weird because I always know the day because it was Labor Day. It was the last Dragon Con day.
Right.
But yeah, since then, wow. So what have I been doing since then? So yeah, I did that tag team karaoke show, which was so super fun. I was really proud of that format. It was kind of a cluster fun because I definitely needed somebody helping me run the playlist. And I was trying to keep it on the fly. Okay, whoever shows up, let's get them in a song.
Right. Well, I remember you even telling me hey, if you're around, show up and do this thing. Yeah. You're very sort of open.
Yeah, because I had a little holding area, and so I'd look back and see who was in the holding area, and then be oh, this person's up next.
Right.
And so they didn't know who I was going to call, which is sort of kind of shitty. So I was if I was going to do it again, I'd be 5 minutes before, I'd be here's the set list, here's who's going, just come out 2 songs before, come out the song before. So
but did it work though? Because it almost seems like it would be kind of fun to have that.
Oh, it was great.
Just get out here.
It was great, and so it was partnering.
We're putting
sort of
all the big ones together,
right?
For sure.
Sure,
okay.
yeah. It was partnering con celebrities with audience members to do a karaoke song. And it's like, it wasn't a duet, it was while one person does it, the other person has to do a shitty activity. So, like there was one that I got, it was a lot of like, you have to catch this many balls, or you have to like go around and give a bunch of high fives, and so that was the great one because people were just fucking winded. Or find as many, like there are these tiny creatures I'd hidden throughout the room, and they like find as many tiny creatures as possible. This one I got a lot of shit for, and it was, I wanted somebody, I had this like baby birthday puzzle, then I was like, you have to build this, so you have to build this baby birthday puzzle in the time, you have to build this within like the allotted amount of time of the song, and they had such a hard time with it, and then like, we were up in a hotel room later on, and there were 4 of us from the show, and they're like, see, it fucking takes forever. And it took at least 10 minutes. Like, we timed it so they could make fun of me. It was great. And I still have it. I think I finally gave away that puzzle because I was like, it's too hard. If I ever do this show again, it's too hard. It sounds like I am. Probably going to come back to DragonCon and do it again.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. We did a different game show last year that you and Aaron were there for a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
Big Game Show. Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun, and I felt like we basically sort of took everything that we had learned over the past several years and sort of put it all together.
There was some production value. My God.
But this year we are not doing anything.
It's so hard. Take a break.
Well, here's what happens.
Drama.
Sean quit.
Oh, fuck.
And look,
I was joking about drama. I didn't realize there was actual drama.
It's not really drama. He's got other stuff that he wants to pursue, and like you said, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of coordination. It's a lot of people wrangling, which is my least favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so Oz and I talked, and Oz and I are still a unit. We're still working on things, but we decided that this year we're taking off. So Saturday night, we're just gonna see what's out there.
You're gonna go to that party and somebody that we thought was in a room and then turn out to be in somebody's hotel room?
We're gonna go back to the Marriott 508.
I just love that because it was like 5 idiots showing up in costumes. Like,
hey, is this a party? Is this what a party is?
And just a tired person done for the night.
Poor lady.
Yeah.
Who I don't think was even there for DragonCon. But we're doing other stuff. Like I'm going to do my normal stuff with, classics track and puppetry track and all. But Oz and I actually just talked yesterday and kind of determined, you know what, we need to regroup because I can't. Right now, I don't have it in me to build a new relationship that is based on, hey, we're going to have a lot of fun together, but I need you to work really hard for no money.
Yeah. Like you do it because it's fun.
Right. And we talked about it. We'll find somebody, we'll figure out something to do, but right now, it's regrouping time.
Yeah. And one thing I love about Oz, I think it's also, when you're doing something for no money, it turns into what's motivating you to do it. Like, if you're doing something for no money, you're doing something that's going to be a pain in the ass.
We loved it, but it was for sure a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And which, part of my old job, writing and producing promos and commercials, if I knew something was going to be, anything can seem fine at first, and then it turns into a pain in the ass. I would always try to make sure there was something I was excited about.
Yes.
And something I would add in to keep myself sane. And so that would be like, well, today we're going to break the table. Today we're going to hang out with space buddies. Today we're going to get in an old limo. It was just something that seemed fun.
Right.
So even if the spot blew, there was something very exciting about it. And so I think Oz most people, he's so motivated by how cool something could be that he built. He built the iron bone, it was this iron throne of dicks, and it's I love that thing so much, and I love that picture. I have a picture of myself as sexy George R. R. Martin in that thing, and I fucking love it. It's like, I just love how driven he was.
Yeah,
like make something. He's like, oh, I have the mental energy to do this.
He gets inspired.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like with the big Plinko thing last year, he'd been wanting to do that for years.
And he's just like, oh, we're just gonna do this now. And it's like, okay, like some people just have that brilliant drive. Like everybody has something in them that goes like, I want to do this. You don't know what or how it's gonna happen, but everybody has like when it comes to doing,
triggered by in a good way.
Yeah, like when it comes to creative stuff, like there's something that's gonna drive you to do it, and it's different for everybody. Like I realized that I have lots of songs.
Really?
I realized I have lots of songs that I've made in the past couple of years, and I'm like, oh, that wouldn't have existed if I wasn't just like, I just want to record with Brent again, or I just have this idea. Like there's always just stuff that pops up that you go like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do, and that's why I want to do it.
What's going on with? Because I absolutely love Summoner 4.
Oh man, you're the only person.
How is that possible?
I don't know. Some people know what it is, or like but that's a very, very classic example of like that is a really stupid thing that I do because it's my sense of humor, which is like I love music, but like music nerds and comedy nerds don't always mix, and so it's a music nerd, comedy nerd, theme song nerd overlap. And so I think it's extremely funny to make a pitchfork-ready song version cover that's very sincere of a theme song.
Yes, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't understand how that wouldn't play, but I guess that's how...
Well, it's just different for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's so stupid and so funny, but I don't expect anybody else to get it, and that's kind of where I am with it. Is like, I love it. I just actually recorded something else with him that will be out soon. It's more me than it is Summoner 4, but it could be categorized as Summoner 4, and I won't say any more about it.
Okay, that's fair.
But I will put it out when it's out.
That will actually be my biggest, well, not my biggest regret. I will always be disappointed that we were never able to schedule it to do a live talk show thing with you.
I asked, so Brent has been recording my voice for years, both musically and then for Toonami, which I'm really, really depressed that he's not going to be recording me anymore, because I have to move, and so I can't, like, we had so many times that we would just catch up over the mic. Because it's always that, like, getting comfortable with somebody, like, I'm here, checking in, how you doing? And we had so many, like, very important life conversations on mic. Maybe he recorded some, I don't know.
He might have a whole podcast that you're not even aware of.
He probably does, but I adore him, and I'm going to miss him so much because of just how special that was. But yeah, that's like, actually, that was one of the hardest things for me, was like, oh, I won't have Brett anymore to just like kind of keep me sane and help me when I was trying to like work something out or whatever. Like he's a really brilliant recordist. I don't know, what do you call that? He's a brilliant audio engineer and composer.
Well, and that's a whole relationship that you worked on and cultivated, and it grew like organically because of something you guys were doing. Yeah. That's gotta be tough.
It's really tough. Like that, when I think about it, I get mega sad.
Sure.
Man, I'm trying to figure out how to put this Instant Pot in a box, Dave.
I can help you out with that. Let me get one more good masking tape.
Oh yeah, you're good at fitting things and things.
Let me get one more good tape.
I like this. This is a really great box mount we've done. I gotta get a picture of it, actually.
You tell me to make a box junkyard.
I did, and
I'm gonna comply.
Okay. Oh my God, I'll even get... Okay. There's Dave. He's helping me today. And look, we're recording a podcast while we build boxes. Oh, man. Okay. There's going to be so much to cut out of me going, man, what's happening? Oh, yeah, I sometimes just get motivated because I love working with Brent, and I love, like, making weird songs, so I have lots of stuff like that. That's just like, oh, I want to make a fun.
Oh, wait, I'm coming over there to, what are we fitting in where?
All right, guys, so one of the things I lost in the split, so even if you have a very amicable split with somebody, there's stuff that you really like that goes. So I lost the Instant Pot, that's fine. I bought myself a new one. I don't know how it fits in this box.
Huh.
How does it fit? Is this the right way? Like, so there's these two pieces of styrofoam.
That has to go...
I think this is the lid one. I think that this is the lid foam. Okay, that works.
You're on fire.
It smells like chicken.
Well, what doesn't?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got, like, I even saved the sort of patterny stuff.
I feel like that's in...
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
That's it.
And then, like, look at, there's like a flat, what is this? Like a flower crown?
No, that's the hat you're supposed to wear while you use the Instant Pot,
Perfect,
right?
got it.
Oh, wait, you know what? No, this is probably...
Oh, separate those out.
Yeah.
Yes, buddy!
To prevent clanking.
Okay, clank prevention.
Yeah.
Shove that in there, and then... Just, I don't know, maybe this goes like... Oh, this goes like this.
That goes in there, right?
Yeah, it doesn't clank, so then... Oh God, I hate the sound of styrofoam. Oh God, okay. Let's see.
I'd turn it that way, maybe.
Or
is that a problem?
okay, I don't know why I hate the sound of styrofoam.
Well, good. I'll put this in there. Go.
Are you sure?
Hide in your room or something.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh man, it's just not. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Thank you, Dave.
No problem. I'm always happy to hang. I have to do this at home too. Mrs. Troublemaker also hates the styrofoam.
Oh no.
Oh man, that didn't quite go in.
That's okay. I'll put this on the outside. Like there's this box. It's a box in a box. So why don't we do this? Check this out.
This needs to go all the way in. There's a missing element here.
Is there? I mean, that seems like that.
Not missing, maybe too many elements.
No. Well, I'm fine with it just being like...
sort of...
Yeah,
that's the best we do?
Yeah, this is who we are today.
Okay.
We did our best. I can sit on it.
We can always put a little piece of
Okay,
tape.
I'm sitting on the box.
Sitting on the Instant Pot.
Yeah, so let's see if it fits into this thing. Okay. There's somebody who offered to help me unpack, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's a good idea, because I don't even know how I packed. So I'm trying to pack consciously.
I think that worked out really well.
We did it! Oh my God!
Congratulations, Instant Pot.
So now, I'm not even wondering, do I need the double box, but I feel like it's a good idea. It's
already done.
It's already done, just gotta seal it.
Yeah.
Seal it with a kiss.
We get one more nice masking tape rip on there. So, some music is still on the way.
Music's still on the way.
Which is exciting. I like to hear that.
I do my average is like one new song every 2 years.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's it's not quite Prince level, but it's okay.
It's just sort of like I don't consider myself to be an amazing composer or vocalist. So like I'm aware of my limitations. I like playing with the fact that I'm aware of my limitations. Actually, there was a Sexaflex song called Squirrels that we recorded, and I hate like how my voice sounds in one chunk of it, so I never want to release it.
Well, you did it.
We did it live.
At the show, right?
Yeah, I did it live, so I thought about just releasing part of it because it's like, okay, we recorded it in 2012. So that's 7 years for somebody to lose it on a hard drive. So my advice, everybody, is like if you're working on a project, finish it out, get your backing track, get everything you think you're going to need. Fuck, I forgot the chord. That's okay. We're just going to put this where this goes somewhere.
Oh no, the cat toys are already sealed up.
That's fine. I haven't really packed much kitchen stuff, so just know this is a kitchen item.
Yes.
I'm going to put it with the kitchen items. And everybody, know.
It sounds like a good plan. And you'll find the cord. Well, no, because the Instant Pot, that's a pretty frequent usage thing. Yep. So you'll be into that.
I'll be into that. Like I think I'm just going to put it with my Vitamix. I have an Instant Pot. I have a Vitamix. I have a Yeti microphone. I have a mixer.
You've got literally every modern convenience.
Yeah, what is...
we know of.
I don't mean to like mess with your mic, but I need to remember what it is that I bought here. I bought a handheld recording and podcasting mic. It's a USB XLR dynamic mic with accessories. I don't even know why I bought this. I just have it. I think I bought it for, you know what? I was going to do a karaoke, because I have this app called Carafun. I was going to do a karaoke night for my friend Zoe's birthday, and I bought that for it. And we wound up not doing it, but now I have this microphone that I need to figure out.
That you just summed up life.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, well, I bought it for the experience of maybe doing this thing, and then it was just like, no, there's already too much shit, dummy. Like, don't like, oh, we're having this amazing dinner party with a gift exchange. Why don't I do a karaoke? Like, no, you don't need to do that. It's fine.
And you know what? That was another good thing that I learned, though, was don't do too much.
Yeah.
There are plenty of good ideas, but you don't have to do them all at once.
No, you can kind of like pace out your ideas. Give your ideas like a little bit of a delayed orgasm. It's fine.
So
it's okay.
You've also been, it seems like since September, October-ish, performing a lot.
Yeah.
Like you've really been working.
Well, I don't, I've been like, I think I'm not necessarily the best about self-promotion.
Right.
And I realize it's a very LA thing now, is that you have to be like, I'm doing stuff. So I have been just recording voiceover for Toonami, which is my actual money voiceover, and Dark Ages show, or it's Dark Ages, but please listen to the Dark Ages podcast. Just listed as Dark Ages, which is the best. I love it so much. I play character Malison.
Is this a strange triangular?
I think I saved it as like an insert to pack art. I actually have to go back to William Street to get some art, so I saved it for art packing.
We'll set this.
Yeah.
This is a symbol.
You know what? Let's pack up my Vitamix while I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
We have all these boxes now, invoiced and closed. Let's see what's going to handle this heavy ass thing. Maybe that's small, like that's a true moving box.
Yeah, this is pretty solid.
Yeah, this seems good.
Do you want to wrap that up in some stuff?
Yes!
That's a good idea. You've been performing a ton, not just at Dad's Garage though, but like you've been quite a few places in Atlanta doing different things.
What is sort of stealth sex effect show at the Village Theater?
I know, and I wish we had,
like we kind of, for some reason we were like, let's do it stealth. And that was a terrible idea because people didn't get to see it, so. Oh no, I just like dropped this. Well, hope you still work when you get to LA. Vitamix. I'll wrap up the beaker.
Probably a good idea. Let's see. But yeah, fortunately, there's plenty of like video and stuff taken there, which I find is the worst thing about doing anything is trying to remember to tell people like, hey, could you record this or get some pictures? Because I'm up there and I can't do it.
Yes, I asked about 4 or 5 people and I knew that I would get at least one. So
right.
That's what you have to do. That's how we do it in the biz. So I had some really wonderful people record it. I will actually say them by name. So I asked Meg and Steeson, who's done my headshots, and she shot me for this project called Glitter Bits. She's a really brilliant photographer, but I have her take pictures.
Little fish.
Yeah, little photo.
She's I met her at Dad's at Black Nerd. She was so nice. She
is a brilliant photographer and improviser, and I don't know, like I'm sad to leave her. I really adore her.
Sure.
And she's one of those people that will kind of like, as far as like photos, like she'll kind of bring something out of you that you didn't know was there, which is what you always want anyway. So I was really, really happy to have her shoot it, and man, this won't fit well. That's fine.
Do you need a bigger one?
A bigger box?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at this just because it's got that heavy bass in it. I don't want the bass breaking. God damn it, I gotta like separate tabs. What are you talking about?
Well, that's when you get the best quality boxes.
Would you mind stealing this and just putting it on the ground and I'll label it?
No problem.
Thank you. Meg did photos. Matt Brohammer, my cat sitter and friend, shot some great stuff. Drew's partner Ian shot some great stuff. Sam Severin, who I don't think had ever seen us live, who's a really wonderful stand-up comic. She shot it and like bought a T-shirt from us in the parking lot afterwards.
That's the best way to get a T-shirt.
Yes, like, well, they wouldn't let us. So I'm going to say this: if you are doing a free show, how you're making money to try to reimburse for that all you spend on stuffed animals is merch.
Right.
So the village would not let us sell merch inside.
I'm putting our spent tape over here,
Great.
so I'll stop picking it up and trying to use it.
That's fine. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to sell it in the parking lot.
Sure.
But then it's like so far away that people don't know, and that was a bit of a bummer. But it's also that it's that thing like, well, we're doing a music, it's music culture versus theater culture. Like theater culture doesn't really deal with merch or traveling musicians or any of that. So it's like etiquette wise, it would have been great if we could have done it, but I understand you have a policy, so that was a bit of a bummer. But then it was also nice to just be like, well, fuck it, let's sell it in the parking lot. And so like people that came out, we had a nice little. It was almost like a rummage sale. People were just like digging through this bin I had and like trying on shirts and finding hankies and looking at buttons, and I was like, yeah, this feels pretty cool.
Plenty of Sexoflex buttons.
Well, I have like 4 orders that people did with me over Instagram, but nobody's picked them up yet. So I don't. And now I'm kind of like, well, they're just gonna go back into the ether.
Yeah. Well,
or get sold to people in LA. Because see a thing of that.
All right, your Vegemax is.
My Vegemax. You can just set it on the ground and I'll label it.
Okay.
I think this is sort of my sort of unlabeled box area. So I need a small box for this Vegemax. Because you need just a smallish, whatever can fit this. I can probably put something else in there.
That is just not the right size for any of these boxes.
Oh,
you may have to leave it behind.
I know. If you give me like a, I can always put more stuff in. This is so lightweight.
Oh, that is?
Yeah, this is pretty lightweight, so I can just put other
Can you put other stuff in there with this? Here, I'll get you some more bubble wrap.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Wow, it's moving. I'm sure you're going to cut out all the stuff of us just being like, okay.
I am absolutely not cutting anything.
Oh, no!
Because I love the novelty of this episode literally being packing with Dana.
Well, I'd say this, like, this has been the hardest. I've been through some shit in my life. So I've had 3 really hard years in my life that I look back on. The year I had brain surgery, I had a brain tumor, I still have a brain tumor, so I feel like I'm like, oh, the year that the surgery happened was the hardest.
Right.
The year my dad died, which I was a teen, and then this experience of getting divorced, selling a condo, losing my job, my main job, like not being able to keep my same job.
Right.
Because I want to move and be in a new city. There's a lot kind of going on all at once, and then trying to like find a place to live and have a new life and all that. It's been exhausting, and I am waking up at odd times, and I'm panicking, and it's like there's a lot of scream crying this year that I didn't expect. So I mean, like I'm a very raw, like emotionally raw person, and I don't like to pussyfoot around what's actually happening, but this has been really fucking tough.
Well, no, dude, I can't even imagine because you're doing everything. You know, they give you that little cutesy stress list of here are the most stressful events in your life, and you're you're going through a divorce, changing jobs, and moving, which is like top 3 all at once.
Yeah.
Just don't have a kid, because that's number 4.
I know, yeah.
Unless you just like, well, let's just see what can I endure.
Yeah, it's been so stressful. And there's people that have really stepped up. I think like for any stressful situation you're going through,
do you need to hand me things?
I think I can get it. For anything stressful you're going through, you're going to have people that step up, but you're also going to have people that just disappear. And that was the same from the other 2 like really horrible years of my life of you have people that show up and step up in their own way, and then you have people that just don't know how to deal with it and they hide.
Well, but you also have people that, yes, don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And also people that maybe like have their own low-key like simmering horrors going on and are like, you know what? I just can't.
I have
because I've definitely been that guy before and felt terrible about it.
Yep, I have. I definitely have. We have a friend who lost a parent this year, and I tried to be there for him. And I have a friend who went through a really terrible breakup, but like it was just that thing of being like I didn't want us to like set each other off. So I haven't been. I feel like I haven't been there for her as much as I wanted to.
Do you have glass things that need to be wrapped?
Lots of glass. I'm trying to put all the plastic together because it won't.
Okay.
These are all plasticky, so I just need a little bubble wrap for that. Anything plasticky just goes in here. Look at all these measuring cups, Dave.
I mean, I would imagine you're somebody who does a lot of measuring. I
love measuring. I have this at a scale. Like, I love it. I love it so much.
I mean, singing, comedy, and measuring.
Measuring. Well, my grandmother, and that's one of the things I had to, like, Marie Kondo, where she had all these fucking awesome vintage measuring cups.
That is kind of awesome.
And I have one that's still up there. But, like, I just kept a couple of hers that, like, really meant something to me or I thought were really cool. But I realized that I've, like, adopted that. So now I have lots of, like, really cool measuring cups.
You know what you need? You need a meniscus tattoo.
Ooh, yeah?
I think so.
Okay.
You know, that'll be your first LA move.
Yeah.
Find a trustworthy LA tattoo shop for that.
I won't. Okay, so I have this, I got an AeroPress.
Is that a coffee device?
Yeah, my friend Netta got me AeroPress, and it's the best. And then, but I haven't, like, ever packed it. Like, I know you can travel with it, but I just need to, like, where am I going to find hot water, everybody? Like, I just get kind of like, well, my friend Zoe that I'm staying with has, like, a carry situation that I like, and pass out to get coffee. Like, I'm kind of just resigned to, bitch, your coffee's not happening the next couple days.
That's a tough thing to accept.
Yeah, so this is also a moving thing, is like, I don't know where I'm going to be living.
Right, well I was a little surprised to hear that when I got over here. I can't remember if that was before or after we started recording.
Yeah, so that's an LA thing that's really fun. Like I went to go look for places in February, spent about 4 straight days just looking and going. It feels like you can appreciate this as a Doctor Who fan, it feels like you are going into different dimensions and looking for something or someone. Like you're looking for River Song and she's not there and she's not there and she's not there. And that's what it felt like, was like I'm going to all these different dimensions and I'm not finding the person that I am, but I'm getting these little clues that are telling me where to go. Yeah. So I feel like I'm like closing in on it, but I couldn't find the person I was looking for. And the person is a place. The person is my new home. Just to continue that metaphor, but I just kind of like jokingly started something on Instagram called House Hunters. That was like, I wasn't really showing the places I was going in, but I'd talk about them, or I'd be like, well, let's go to people I know's houses and be like, look, I found a house. Yeah. So you're like, I don't know what else to call this. So House Hunters, I'm still kind of playing with on Instagram as like a little Instagram story series, if you will. But yeah, like LA is a very, very hard market to find a place. It's really competitive. You have to go there with basically cash in hand and say, I want this, and plunk it down. Here's my credit score, here's my application, here's everything about me.
Oh, gosh.
Here's my job I have. Maybe you don't have a job.
Right, yeah, that seems like the other hurdle.
Yeah, like there was somebody that was like, oh, tell me your rental history. And I was like, I've been paying a mortgage for 10 years, so can I just give you my mortgage statement?
Right, shouldn't that be...
Yeah, like I'm my own fucking landlord? Like, what do I do? So, like, there's all this stuff that is translating from, like, Atlanta culture, which I think is very much like, a lot of people here own homes, which is super cool. I'm very grateful that I got to do that. I hate selling this home, so I'm also not grateful. I wish I just rented. But I'll also be really happy when I get that check. So there's that. But it's just a different culture. It's a totally different culture of like finding a place to live, and everybody has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion about it, and so like you kind of just have to take it all with a grain of salt and go like, well, what's going to work for me? Like I know that I like quiet, which is really hard to find, and I need something that's cat friendly. And some places charge what's called pet rent. It's an Atlanta thing that started too, which is like, how many animals do you have? Great, that'll be anywhere from like $35 to $50 to $100 per animal a month.
Oh my gosh.
Which is like...
Per animal?
Per animal.
What is...
So then you're like, well, do I cut the number of cat? Like, do I say that I have one? Do I say that I
Well, you can't, because you never know.
Who's going to come in?
Like, what, how could you, this is me. I could not live day by day, waking up every morning thinking, what if they find out today?
What if they find out that Floppy's here?
Right.
Oh my god, what if they find out like their corridor's there? Oh my god, your baby corridor! What if?
So, we've been packing with Dana for about an hour.
Yeah.
And I think we need a big go home.
Yeah.
Well, this story is going to be an ongoing adventure.
This really is, and I think that this is the real shit right now. Like, I'm in the shit. This is...
You really are.
Yeah, this is like, I think, again, my brand is very raw. I will tell people like it is. This is the hardest thing, and I'm sort of resorting to a lot of bad habits because of it, because I'm just like, I don't know what else to do.
Sure.
So I definitely, like, I wish I were doing more therapy, but that's this right now. So this is what you get, people. But this is a very honest, real conversation with Dave. So I'm happy to do it. And this is actually kind of great because we had an activity, and that brings up things to talk about. Oh, here's my work badge.
I saw that.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my gosh!
Look at my
that
pupils.
picture.
They're like
oh my gosh!
little pinpoints because it's just so faded. Like, this has definitely fallen in a toilet a couple times.
Sure.
And been washed.
I backed away.
Yeah, I used to have.
As you stated that.
Yeah, I used to have a gym membership taped to the back of it that like got so gross that it fell off. Like, this is an old thing that was on my person for years.
Well, I think you are going to be awesome.
Thank you.
I feel very strongly about the amount of stress you're going through right now.
Oh my god. I'm so happy you're here. I need it.
I hate that for you.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about you at all.
Thank you. That always makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
I think so, and I'll tell you this, to wrap this thing up.
Yes.
You are one of those, you meet a few people in your life that have an impact on you.
Oh, no.
That like, oh yeah.
No.
That change who you are.
Oh, Dave.
And as a performer, as a human being, and before I met you, I was a little kind of a harsher person.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't as understanding. And knowing you and your perspectives on things and how you feel about people, how you feel about the world, and what a kind, gentle person you are, you changed me. You have changed who I am as a person. You're one of the most impactful people in my life.
Oh, Dave, we need a hug.
You really are.
We need a hug, buddy. We're hugging.
We are
podcast
hugging.
Audience. I'm crying and we're hugging. That's what you're missing from this visual.
You really do mean so much to me, though.
I miss you so much.
And you're going to be awesome.
I watched that lame suit that I wore for our workout video, and it had like...
Did it fall apart?
It had stains. It had like marks where you could see where I did squats. Like, it was so weak that it was like... Like, lame had just like worn off like on my butt. Like, the butt was just gone. So I'm recycling it. I'm going to take it to textiles recycling, or I may ask you to do that as a nice parent.
Sure.
So that is a what's up. But thanks to everybody, and thanks Dave. Do I need to plug anything?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you? What do you got? Where can we find you online?
I'm going to plug Dark Ages Show, which I already plugged, but I love them. Because I think like people know what Toonami is, watch Toonami every Saturday. But I think what really needs the love is this just brilliant podcast that my friends Brandon and Liz make that's done here. And Brandon just moved to Seattle, so it's all getting... And I'm moving to LA, so it's all getting crazy. But we're trying to schedule it and work it out and make sure that I can record and have them direct me and make it all work. So... it's a really lovely D&D. It feels like it was like born out of a D&D group I was in some ways. So
yeah.
It was it's a workplace fantasy comedy podcast. So it's sort of like The Office meets I don't know. Like The Office meets Dungeons and Dragons, and everybody meets each other. It's really fun.
Thematically, it's a little, or maybe setting-wise, it's a little Game of Thronesy in my head.
It is a little Game of Thronesy. Yeah. I love that podcast so much. I have a song coming out. I'll put it out in the world. I'm at Dana Swanson on Instagram and Twitter. That's where you can figure out what the hell it is that I'm doing. I will probably have a website soon. And I'll probably I have a podcast that I'm working on out in LA that I can't talk about, but I will.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, thanks for having us over to help you pack.
Yeah, this was great. I'm not going to lie, this was fucking awesome. Always ask for help.
All right, on the count of 3, I want everybody listening to all say at the same time, good luck, Dana. And we're all listening to this at exactly the same time. I'm listening to it again right now, so this will totally work. All right? So on 1, 2, 3, good luck, Dana! All right, I'm sure she'll feel that out in L.A., which, by the way, this episode is posting as she is flying to L.A. Oh, my little Dana. She's going to be a superstar. I know she is. All right, so to get back on track before I start crying again, Needless Things Podcast every single Friday at needlessthingspodcast.com. Also available on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever, everywhere. It's Google. Google is everything now. You don't even have to know anything about anything. You just Google it, and it's, oh, well, there's the thing. Needless Things Podcast, Google, boom, there it is. Needless Things Podcast, Les Exoflex, Episode 3. Pulls right up. You should go back and listen to that, by the way, as well as episode 100, which is a more in-depth interview about the life of our pal Dana. Let's see, next week, it is the return of the Needless Commentary. We are on the road to WrestleMania, so we have, once again, a wrestling-adjacent movie that we are going to be enjoying, and it's one that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's a movie I genuinely like. Should I tell you? Should I go ahead? I guess I should go ahead and tell you. That way you can order it from Amazon or wherever and have it. Hunt to Kill, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin. Unless the guys talk me into watching something else. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be Hunt to Kill, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Needless Things Podcast. You're the best. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Downcast, or in the ears of a Trader Vic's employee. Love you, mean it,